Did you know that nearly 70% of people with dismissive avoidant attachment style report intense feelings of regret after a breakup? But they only express it when they feel safe again. So most people assume that avoidance never come back. But the truth is that they often do come back, but only when something specific shifts. And that's why in this video, we're going to unpack exactly what those triggers are for an avoidant to return. And not just physically, but also emotionally. And no, it's not about manipulation or playing games. It's about understanding what's really happening beneath their need for space. My name is Luna A. May, and I'm a life and attachment style coach and author of books on attachment styles. What attachment style are you? And understanding and overcoming anxious attachment. And my mission here is to help you understand your emotional patterns and reconnect with the secure, loving relationships that you truly deserve. But let's dive into the subject of today's video now. So, one of the biggest myths I hear, especially from people who's been hurt by avoidance, is this idea that they always disappear for good, that they run away, that they shut down, and they just move on without looking back. And yes, avoidance is a part of the picture. Dismissive avoidants often do tend to retreat when emotions get intense. But what's often overlooked is the fact that many of them do come back. And they don't just come back randomly. They come back because certain psychological and emotional conditions are met. And when those conditions align, suddenly the door reopens for them. But let's back up for a second and look at why avoidants pull away in the first place. So, as you probably know, avoidant attachment often stems from childhood experiences where emotional closeness felt overwhelming, unpredictable, or even dangerous sometimes. So maybe the caregivers were emotionally unavailable or inconsistent. Or maybe they learned early on that it's safer not to depend on anyone because the moment they start to depend on someone, they get hurt. So as a result of that, over time, they develop this deep-rooted belief that closeness equals danger. So now when they are in a relationship and the things start getting close, especially emotionally close, it feels threatening to them, even if nothing is wrong in the relationship. And instead of leaning in, they pull away. They create space or they go cold. But that space isn't permanent because eventually something else kicks in, the very human need for connection, because avoidants also have this need for connection. And here is where it gets interesting. When the avoidant finally has enough distance, their nervous system starts to settle. And once they are no longer in that fight or flight mode, they begin to feel things they couldn't access before. So they feel regret, they feel nostalgia, they feel curiosity, sometimes even longing. But this only happens if the space is actually there. Which is why, and this is the key, going no contact can be incredibly powerful in this context. By the way, I'd like to let you know that if you want to go deeper into this subject, I offer one-to-one coaching sessions. And during the sessions, we work through your specific situations and start creating real emotional clarity and progress. So if that feels like something you need right now, the link is in the description box below. But now, I want you to be really clear here. No contact is not a game. It's not about punishing anyone or making them chase you. It's about creating a boundary, not for them, but for you. It's about giving yourself this breathing room to heal and reflect and giving the avoidant this space to feel something other than fear, the fear that they feel because of the closeness. And timing really matters in this situation. With securely attached people, you might hear that 30 days of no contact is enough. But with avoidance, that's usually not the case. They often need at least 6 weeks. And in more extreme cases, even up to 3 months before they are even capable of accessing the part of themselves that might miss the connection you had with them. So if you are doing no contact and you break it at the 2 or 3 week mark, even just by watching their story on Instagram or Facebook, liking a post, replying to a message, it disrupts this entire process. But let's say you do give them the time they need. What then? Well, this is where your power really begins. Because no contact isn't just about what they do. It's about what you do with the time. And the most powerful thing you can do is to use that period of separation to work on your own healing, on yourself. So you can ask yourself, what were you trying to get from this person? What needs were you hoping they would meet for you? And how can you begin to meet those needs with yourself? And this might mean developing better self soothing strategies or maybe exploring your own core wounds, those deep seated beliefs like, I'm not good enough or I'll always be abandoned. These wounds don't just disappear. They repeat in every relationship until we learn how to recognize them and recondition them. So, this is your time to do that work. It's also time to clarify your standards, the standards for the future. What are your non-negotiable? What qualities must someone demonstrate in order for you to feel safe and respected in a relationship? That's very important because if the avoidant does come back, you want to be able to evaluate that from a place of clarity, not emotional desperation. Now, let's fast forward a little bit. Let's say the avoidant reaches out. Maybe it's a message. Maybe they like a story you posted. Maybe they ask you how you're doing out of the blue. This moment can feel huge. But here's the thing. Not all reach outs are created equal. Avoidants often initiate contact not because they've had a full transformation, but because they are seeking the relief. They're trying to soothe their own discomfort, the discomfort that they are feeling, because they miss the emotional safety you provided. They are feeling lonely, or they are feeling confused or nostalgic. And those feelings are real, but they don't necessarily mean they are ready to show up in a different manner. So before you respond to this contact, check in with yourself. Are they initiating something really meaningful or they are just checking what's happening? If you don't see real effort, thoughtfulness, or consistency, it may not be the time to re-engage. Now, let's shift for a second. What if you're still in the relationship, but things are tense? Maybe you've had an argument and now the avoidant is stonewalling you. They've shut down, they've gone quiet, and you're left wondering what on earth to do with that. This is such a painful experience, and especially if you have anxious or secure tendencies. And the natural impulse in this situation is often to push for a response, to get them to talk to you, to resolve things right away, because you need it. But unfortunately, that usually backfires with an avoidance. And why is that? It's because their shutdown response is rooted in fear and shame. They might not know how to do conflict. They don't know how to deal with this kind of situations. And if they feel criticized or judged, it only deepens the withdrawal. So here's a way to approach it, and that keeps the door open without chasing. So you might say something like, I can tell you are pulling back right now. And I want you to know I respect your need for space. When you are ready, I'd like to have a calm and honest conversation so we can understand each other in a better way. I care about this relationship and I care about you. And I know avoiding the issue doesn't help either of us in the long run. I'll be here when you are ready. So please take your time. Do you see the difference? You're holding your boundary. You're being emotionally available without being emotionally overwhelming to the other person. You are naming the behavior without putting blame on them. And that over time helps the avoidant to feel safer, to re-engage with you. And when or if they come back after a longer period of space, I want you to remember one thing. This isn't about getting the fairy tale ending. It's about creating a relationship dynamic where you feel respected, where you feel seen and emotionally safe. So what you need to do is pay attention to how do they return. Are they showing signs of growth? Are they taking initiative to rebuild trust? Are they acknowledging what went wrong and expressing what they want going forward? Or are they just slipping back in like nothing happened, hoping to pick up where they left off? Now, before we finish, I want to share a few of the most common questions I get from clients when we talk about avoidant attachment, about no contact, or about the breakups. So, the first question is it okay to respond if they contact me during the no contact period? And technically, no. True no contact means no engagement at all. not even a reaction to a message. And I know that it's hard at first, but the reason it's so important is that avoidants need full distance to start feeling safe enough to actually feel regret and miss you, feel the longing or emotional clarity. So if you respond before they've proceeded with those layers, proceeded with their thoughts, it usually resets the clock. That said, if you've already broken no contact, don't panic. Just gently return to this situation of no contact and take it as a cue to go deeper into your healing. Okay, second question. Can avoidance ever change? Or is it better to just move on? This is very interesting. And yes, avoidance can change, but only if they are willing to do the work. Avoidant attachment is a protective pattern, not a permanent personality trait. So it can be changed, it can be rewired. But real change takes self awareness, nervous system work, and often therapy or coaching. It's not something you can inspire them to do by waiting or proving your worth. So, what you need to do is ask yourself, are they showing signs of growth, of initiative, and emotional maturity? If not, moving on might be the most loving thing you can do for yourself. The third question is, how long should I go no contact? And what if I never hear from them again? Yes, this is a very good question, very common question. So for dismissive avoidance, no contact should ideally last at least 6 weeks. And for highly avoidant individuals, up to 12 weeks or even longer. The deeper their fear of intimacy, the longer it will be. But here is the most important part. This time isn't about waiting for them to come back. Remember, it's time for yourself, the time for your healing and thinking about what you need in relationship. And yes, it's possible you may never hear from them again. But that doesn't mean no contact failed. If it led you back to clarity, peace, and stronger emotional boundaries, it means that it worked. If you have any other questions about avoidant attachment, about no contact, about navigating tricky relationship dynamics, please drop them in the comments below. I read everything and I always try to answer all questions, and I might even answer your question in a future video. So let's keep the conversation going. And if you want to better understand the subtle behaviors avoidants use to protect themselves, I recommend you to watch the other video that I made, 7 ways how an avoidant tests you. This video will help you to recognize the patterns early on so you can respond with more clarity and with more confidence. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.